Thank you so much, Peg. Thank you, 333. Just three flash fiction pieces in the vein of the theme here. This is called In Between Making Plans. We moved to the city to become artists, dealing drugs to make ends meet while chasing down dreams of experimental theater troupes and interactive art installations hidden in plain sight. After all of that failed, we were just drug dealers. All good times until we had to buy weapons and figure out where to stash the guns so the kids wouldn't discover them. It all seemed perfectly natural when we had repacked those dreams to find ourselves jonesing for different dreams. And hey, did anyone happen to notice where the kids and guns went? God, I hope we remembered to give them compasses. Redwood Empire, 1972. I'm 5 years old. Dad takes me to a semi-pro hockey match in Santa Rosa to watch his reefer-running buddy from Boston play center for the Sebastopol team. One of his teammates is the son of the guy who writes those Charlie Brown and Snoopy cartoons and comics. And strangely enough, opposing the Sebastopol squad this evening is the home ice Santa Rosa team, whose center is the guy who writes the Charlie Brown and Snoopy cartoons and comics. Dad thinks I might be interested in this because he thinks I'm really into Snoopy and Peanuts, but honestly, my eyes and interest are more taken by the 3D diorama installed on the tops of the bleachers, stretching around the walls to the far sides of the rink. It's a replica, a strange mix of Victorian turrets and modern apartments cast in silhouette with real-looking windows, real-looking shadows of real-looking people who move around and around inside their shadow homes. It's getting close to Christmas, so there are even more blinking lights illuminating the shadows, a promise of some sort of deliverance in the artificial chill and smell of frozen chlorine surrounding us. My dad's buddy from Boston waves to us from the ice. That seems neat, but my thoughts turn back to the little village spectacle off to my right. I want to see what's inside. I want to travel to this alternate world that is just right over there. And I want to knock on those shadow doors. And if those shadow doors don't open, I want to go inside those shadowy but warm-looking homes and imagine that I can live in them too. And it's all I can think about, even when my dad yells out, "Holy shit, Schultz just blindsided his own kid!" And even when a fist fight breaks out on the ice. And even when some of the people in the crowd below us start going out onto the ice to join the fight. And even when my dad suddenly turns to me and says, "Stay right there, I'll be right back." And then he disappears. And while I'm not really sure where he went, maybe to see if he can help his buddy in the fight, or maybe to join that other group of long hairs smoking those stinky cigarettes over there that they're always smoking. I can't quite tell where he's gone, but that's okay because it gives me a chance to scoot closer to the mysterious village that is really now just coming into reaching distance of my little hands. And I hear strange clicks and whirring sounds emanating from the alternate silhouette world. And I imagine that I can live in it too, just like all the obviously happy shadow people who get to live here and live near all this excitement and sublime beauty at Santa Rosa's Redwood Empire ice rink. And this is my last piece. This is called Free Parking. Don't go vanishing. He says this every morning. Don't come near me. She thinks that every morning. He started saying this every morning 3 weeks ago. It was the week before she noticed he was taking the car keys every morning. She asked him when he started taking the car keys every morning. He answered, 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago was the same week he came home to find her talking to Left-Hand Charles. She and Left-Hand Charles had been talking about her joining his family in his custom bus and leaving the free parking lot for Canada or points of interest anywhere north of this here shithole. She sees him coming home and thanks Left-Hand Charles for his kind offer, but politely refuses. It seemed like the right thing to do. Left-Hand Charles is visibly disappointed. "Looks like a party," he says, arriving at their vehicle. "Left-Hand Charles was just telling me their family is leaving the free parking lot tomorrow," she answers. "Holy cow, Charles," he says. "You really headed out to the unincorporated America?" Left-Hand Charles says yes, says he could sure use a space heater for the trip. And would he be interested in trading their space heater for Left-Hand Charles' convenient, cushy space, smack up against the security barrier where it's warmer and easier to take cover from the storms and just plain safer? People are just plumb nicer. He looks at her. She looks down. She never knows what she should say. She knows what she wants to say. "Sure," he answers. He gives Left-Hand Charles their space heater. Left-Hand Charles tells them to move over to his space the morning after next. Left-Hand Charles doesn't actually have a left hand. He doesn't have a right eye either, but he will still drive the bus. The morning after next, they go to move their vehicle to Left-Hand Charles' old parking space. When they get there, it's already been squatted by nearby neighbors. When they go back to their old parking space, it's already been squatted too. They are forced to head out to the outer fringe of the free parking lot, where the space for supposed City Mart customers is shrinking proportionally to the free parking lot space being lived in by the low-level City Mart employees. Their new neighbors tell them they better keep an eye on their gas tank. The new neighbors offer to help protect their gas tank if they'll help them protect theirs. The new neighbors say they only plan on staying in free parking for 6 weeks before getting waived back into residential parking. She remembers telling their new free parking neighbors the same thing 6 months ago. Their new parking space is about 150 yards from the fringe of the free parking border fence. The other side of the free parking border fence is dense foliage and shrubbery. This is when he starts taking the car keys to work with him every day. A week later, she thinks she sees people on the other side of the fence. She thinks they might be staring at her. This is when she begins wondering where the car keys are. The next day, she sees him take the car keys to his shift at City Mart. The next day, she sees he does this every morning. 4 nights later, they catch their neighbors trying to siphon from their gas tank. This leads to much awkwardness in the free parking lot. Their neighbors put up windshield blinds. She notices most of the other neighbors have windshield blinds up as well. She begins to wonder if the free parkers ever get back into the residential parking lot. This is the first time she wishes she had gone with Left-Hand Charles. Then next day is the first time he says, "Don't go vanishing." He says it every morning now. Now she thinks, "Don't come near me," every morning. She wants him to forget the keys just once. She will find Left-Hand Charles, or failing that, the dense foliage and shrubbery. Thank you.